Let's move on to Winnie the Pooh, which was the movie a few years after that. How long did that take to complete? That was 2D animation.
Yes, that was 2D animation, and that one actually went pretty quick. 3 years from start to finish, I believe. And what made that one really unique, particularly unique at Walt Disney Animation Studios, is that we're used to developing stories that are totally original. So you start with that blank piece of paper and you got to create a whole, new cast of characters, new worlds, stories, all that kind of stuff. What was interesting about Winnie the Pooh was that we just started drawing pictures and just started like shooting ideas around and just put them all up on the walls, and eventually built a story in a very kind of traditional Disney way, like very old school Disney. So we were able to go a little bit quicker on that one because we were adapting something that existed already as opposed to creating something from scratch.
Now, answer me a question.
Okay.
Why Winnie the Pooh? Why do adults love Winnie the Pooh? Why do adults love that movie so much? What am I missing here? But we've talked about this. Adults, I know there's a book, The Zen of Winnie the Pooh.
Right.
But what is it in that movie? I watched it twice. And what is it? Tell me.
Yeah, our feeling was, we talked about this quite a lot. Our feeling was that each character, it's like a wheel of human traits. Pooh is kind of a naive optimist, let's say. Piglet is fear. Owl is ego. Rabbit is control. Tigger is independence, individuality. I'm the only one. Eeyore is pessimism, cynicism. They're all human traits. It's like you took a human being and split him in 8 different directions, and each one of those characters has one of those human traits, and we all have those human traits. They're all universal, no matter what age, no matter gender, race, location on the planet. It is a they're all fundamentally human, and we are all an Eeyore at some point during our day, and we are all Rabbit at some point, and we're all Piglet, and we all feel those different emotions. We just kind of, for them, they're all mashed together inside of us. But those critters in the 100-Acre Wood they each represent a very relatable human emotion, foible, vulnerability, whatever you want to use to call it. So we always felt like they're really, even though they're little stuffed animals, they're very human. When we started making the movie, the company started conducting some focus groups about Winnie the Pooh with adults and kids, and what do they like, and what do they, what's Winnie the Pooh all about. And one of the interesting pieces of feedback they got was, they said that adults laugh at Winnie the Pooh the way a parent laughs at their child as their child is trying to make sense of the world and say, all those amazing things that kids say that have an innocence and a purity to them, but in a weird way, a wisdom to it that is well beyond what they should have. But the way a parent just loves that about their children, that's kind of how adults feel about Winnie the Pooh. I thought that's really interesting. It's like you can, and I say the word laugh, I put that in quotes because I don't mean like mocking Winnie the Pooh, but you can laugh at his naivete, but it also endears him to you, and also, makes you feel warm, and makes you want to help him. Like you want to extend yourself to Pooh and tell him it's going to be okay. I think there's something in there about those characters.
Now, how did you get to be director of Winnie the Pooh?
So I had finished with Meet the Robinsons. It had come out in 2007. And then I went into development. So I was developing a few different ideas that I had pitched to the studio. Wasn't really getting a lot of enthusiasm for those ideas, but was kind of forging ahead, trying to make the best of it. And then sometime in 2008, John Lasseter, my boss at the time, was running Disney Animation, asked if I wanted to work on a Winnie the Pooh feature. And I was like, huh, that's weird. Winnie the Pooh? Because I had thought about Winnie the Pooh in a number of years. But it turned out that at the time, Bob Iger wanted to re-energize Winnie the Pooh company-wide. Uh, the research was telling them that Pooh was only second to Mickey Mouse in terms of consumer product sales. So he was a big driver of consumer products. But Pooh had over the years kind of become only about the baby's room, become like on diapers and on crib bedding and that kind of thing. Became very young, super young. And so Bob Iger said, let's age it up. Let's do some stuff across the company that can appeal to a huge general audience. And we want to start with an animated film from Disney Features. So, and John wanted my friend Don Hall. At the time, he was my head of story on Meet the Robinsons, and he had just finished being head of story on Princess and the Frog. Later would go on to win an Academy Award for Big Hero 6. And John said, I'd like you to team up with Don if you're interested. And of course, I was thrilled to team up with Don. And then we were off.
Thanks for joining us. To hear this interview with director Steven Anderson in its entirety, check out Walk Number 4 at A Walk with Walt podcast, found on iTunes or Spotify.